Arum Ital. Arum Ital. Lo ith soleil. Lo ith vismir. Monum ulgrum thonocolo utocrain. This is too dangerous. Need to find another way.
The Rift Gate! Something's coming through!
Inquisitor Creed, Devil's Crossing was attacked.
Take it easy, John. What's happened?
Some new kind of ethereal. Just smashed right through our defenses. We need reinforcements. We're in bad shape.
I'll send help, but I can't spare much. We're equally pressed here. The loss of Ulgrim to the Void may be more serious than you realize.
Ulgrim is dead, Creed. You must know that. My people need help now. We won't survive another attack.
John,
It came from Malmoth. That thing that attacked Devil's Crossing. I escaped the city with a small group 2 weeks ago. Most died crossing the burning fields. My father was pulled into the bog by cannibals. I had to leave him. I was the only one who made it to Devil's Crossing. Malmoth has been a living nightmare since the Grim Dawn. I was part of the resistance there, if you can call it that. The Ethereals toyed with us, as if we ever had a chance. They let us fight on because they needed us. Needed our bodies for the grotesque things they make deep beneath the city. You think you're safe here, behind your stone walls. But those things from Malmoth will keep coming, and they will find you. And no fortress will ever be able to save you.
A chilling tale, indeed. In our fight against the Chthonians, we've overlooked a growing ethereal threat. We must find Ulgrim. But maybe we can aid Malmoth at the same time. You've already done a great deal, but we must ask for your help once again. We need you to strike at the heart of the ethereal invasion, far to the east, in the ruined city of Malmoth.
I've never been so far from Malmoth, or surrounded by so many armed men.
We meet again, though under grim circumstances. You should speak to Creed. We were attacked by a never-before-seen ethereal monstrosity. It exited the rift yesterday morning, and while the salt lines caused a great agony, it was able to cross and attack. We lost many people taking it down, including Sadina, who sacrificed herself to cripple the beast with one of her runes. May she rest in peace. Her name is Amala. She wandered into Devil's Crossing a few days ago. Claims she's from Malmoth, far to the north. If that's true, and thus far I have little reason to believe otherwise, then she's been through one hell of a journey to reach us. And she did not paint a pretty picture of the city.
Good, you're back. Do you have a moment? I struggle to admit this, but I must abandon my efforts at opening a rift to reach Ulgrim. For all I've learned in battling the occult, I'm no warlock. During my last attempt, I nearly lost control of the ritual when something tried to breach my portal from the other side. This is too dangerous to continue. To make matters worse, Captain Bourbon has just arrived with a girl named Amala, bearing dire news from the east. While we struggled here to stop the Chthonians from unleashing terror and madness upon the world, The Ethereals have been far from idle. Everything they had done in this region is merely a sample of what is to come, if what Amala says is true. As much as it pains me to say this, our plans to rescue Ulgrim are secondary to this rising threat in the fallen city of Malmeth. The passage north from Burwitch is quickly closing as the Aetherfire consumes everything. But perhaps we can accomplish both goals at once. You see, the Luminari have long been aware of a coven of witches hiding out to the north of Burwitch, using the treacherous territory to deter pursuers. The witches will know the lay of the land and should be aware of any paths that remain through the Aetherfire. And I have hopes that they will be able to do what I could not, reveal where the Loghorian has taken Ulgrim. I would go myself, but I doubt the arrival of a high-ranking Inquisitor will be looked upon kindly within their circle, and I am needed in Devil's Crossing. I know that you have suffered much already in the defense of humanity, but you are the only one I can trust with this. Take my pendant and travel north from the Burwitch Estates. A barrier of Aetherfire will stand in your way, but the pendant will make short work of it. Head north through Gloomwald until you've reached the edges of Ugdenbog, where I believe the Coven has made their home. You cannot arrive empty-handed, or they may well burn any memory of discovering their location right out of your mind. I recommend you hunt down a creature known as Caraxus Foul, the Scourge of Ugdenbog. I imagine it has grown quite large over the years, preying on unwary travelers making their way through Gloomwald. Find the beast within its waterside lair in Gloomwald, and bring its heart to the Coven. I'm sure they'll find some nefarious use for it. But we must overlook that in light of our situation. Show them this keepsake of Ulgrim's and find us a way to Malmeth. We will be awaiting your signal. Though the situation is dire, we must remain hopeful. We're counting on you. I know. It doesn't seem like much, but this is one of only a few things Ulgrim dragged around everywhere he went. It clearly had sentimental value, something the witches can use to divine his whereabouts, if he still lives. There's a lot to Ulgrim that you don't know about, that none of us know about. He seems more than human, and I suspect has been walking this world for a lot longer than you and I combined. He could become a devastating weapon of the Chthonians if we allow them to corrupt his mind. Maybe there is some degree of camaraderie influencing my thinking, but I do feel that he could become a threat if we leave him to be consumed by the madness of the Void.
Excuse me, could I have a moment of your time? I overheard that you will be headed beyond Gloomwald in the hopes of reaching Malmeth. It's noble of you to spearhead this effort, but I was hoping there was something you could look into for me. You see, I did not travel down here alone. I was with my father. He was injured in Gloomwald, and I had no choice but to leave him behind in search of aid.
My father and I were part of a small group that managed to escape the confines of Malmeth's ruins, but we did not get far before the casualties began. The spreading Aetherfire and roaming Ethereal saw to that. But it was not until we reached Ugdenbog that the horrors truly began. Cannibals, poisonous fumes, and even carnivorous plants threatened our every move. By the time we entered Gloomwald, it was just my father and I, but we were not out of danger yet. A pack of cannibals ambushed us in the night. My father was injured in the fray. While it wasn't fatal, I had no choice but to leave him so that I could find help. Eventually, I found my way to Devil's Crossing. I'm not sure how long my father can survive on his own. He was never very good with weapons, or much of anything, for that matter. Nevertheless, he's the only family I've got left, and I want to look for him. But the Inquisitor insists that I first debrief him on every detail that I can recall on Malmeth. On your way through Gloomwald, will you spare some time and search for my father? He could not have strayed far from the main road.
Good luck out in Ugdenbog. I've only traveled north of Burwitch a handful of times, and the journey was never a pleasant one. I cannot imagine it's fared any better with a lack of patrols and human activity. Gloomwald and Ugdenbog are some of the most treacherous areas in the region, even before the Grim Dawn. Regular patrols kept the roads mostly safe for travel, but there was always a risk when traveling between Burwitch and the northern settlements. Those that could afford it generally preferred to go by boat. I don't know what it is about that bog, but It's a breeding ground for predators. We're gonna clean up this mess, tighten our defenses, prepare for the worst. As always, we will persevere.
Please, just leave me alone out here.
Welcome. We hope that you find comfort in this refuge, away from prying eyes or judgment from the uninitiated. I thank you for this offering. The heart of Caraxes shall cause no further harm. Instead, it now shall heal our injured. Now, what is it you need of us? If you seek a path to Malmouth through the swamps, then I am afraid you are out of luck. The roads have all but collapsed, and even if you should somehow find your way out of the bog, the land beyond has been consumed by aetherfire. Ancient passageways exist that could take you north, but they are not of this realm, and you will not like where they lead. Now, this friend of yours? What happened? Ulgrim, you say? Oh, it would be a shame to lose such a legend. But if he was claimed by the Void, then... Perhaps this gives me an idea that will solve both your predicaments. But if we are to help with this, then I must ask for something more in return. What you ask will take me some time to prepare, but before I help you, there is something you must do for us. Deep within Ugdungbog, to the north of our refuge, there lies a village by the name of Barrowholm. I need you to travel there. I care not for the village, only for what was stolen. We had crafted an Ugdungbog fetish within the swamp in order to protect ourselves from the wilderness. Recently, someone has tampered with it, tore off the head of the fetish, and ran off with it. I can still sense its waning power within the bog, and the only nearby settlement is Barrowholm. I do not care what you do. We must have it returned to us. Do this, and I shall give you the means to find Ulgrim, and perhaps even a way to Malmouth.
I am relieved that my father made it safely. We were never close, but he's the only family I got left. I don't know how to thank you. Oh, perhaps this. Here, take this potion. My father and I took sips from it along our journey to keep up our strength. I'm sure you'll find it useful.
Welcome, traveler. I hope the day finds you great fortune. Do stay for a bit if you need a rest. Oh, cutting right through the formalities then. And if it so happens that we have in our possession this thing you seek, why should we just hand it over? I'm afraid if you want something from us, then we are going to need something from you. Why do you? Oh, but frankly, it comes down to reality. We live in a cruel world where many simply take what they want without any consideration for others. I see this as an opportunity for us to work together. A mutual gain. I'm glad you agree. It's true, we do have this relic, and it can be yours in exchange for some trivial assistance. Things I'm sure you will have no trouble undertaking. Speak to my friends Tybalt and Jordan, and once I've heard back from them, I shall give you what you seek.
A blessed welcome, traveler. A blessed welcome, traveler.
I am so pleased that we could come to an understanding here, rather than resorting to needless bickering. As promised, my stash is open to you. You're welcome to take the fetish. I am thoroughly pleased to hear that you've been mingling among our people and finding a place for yourself in our little society, outsider. However, not all are as willing to accept our master's visions for this region as you are. Yes, our protector, our guiding star through the tumultuous chaos. Once we were lost and dying. The bog threatened to consume us, but the Wendigo spirit showed us another way. You describe the uglier side of things, yes, but do not take the flesh-crazed as representation of the greater picture. They are but a symptom of a world that is sick. We are the true chosen of Ravager. We have been uplifted, as can you be. After the wards you've restored for us? Or the flesh you've hand-delivered? Or perhaps the ritual materials you helped secure within the mine? Whether you like it or not, you are in this now, and we are stronger than ever for it. Ravager's arrival is nearly upon us, and much of it is thanks to you.
You've returned. Are you ready to complete our bargain? You chose to negotiate with the thieves. That is your business. All that matters is that the fetish is back in our hands. Now, for our end of the deal. In now forgotten times, our kind used to travel to Ugdenbog in order to perform dark bindings at the altar of Ratosh. The altar has not seen use in decades, and now lies forgotten on the northern edge of the bog. However, it is a place where the veil between realities is at its thinnest. The altar of Ratosh is a rare place in Cairn where one can pierce the veil. I've marked Ulgrim's keepsake with the runes of seeking. Place it upon the altar, and a way into the void should be revealed. Whether you find your friend alive on the other side, or just his tainted bones, that I do not know. But the void may offer you more than just salvation for Ulgrim. Once it had served as a means of traversing great distances, though not always with predictable results. If the cult of Chthon had opened rifts near Malmeth, then perhaps you can use the void as a tunnel. While I cannot promise you success, it is perhaps your only chance of bringing back Ulgrim and reaching Malmeth. Seek out the Altar of Ratosh in the northern reaches of Ugdenbog, beyond Barrowholm. I wish you luck. That is a tale steeped in myths and legends, but I suppose we learned the hard way to steer clear of the dark promises of that altar. No sister dares approach it. You may not like what I offer, but I assure you, there is no other way. Now that you have what you came for, I was wondering if we could do more for one another. Ever since the Ugdenbog fetish was stolen from us, our wards have weakened and some of our protective spells have even failed us. To put it simply, we are exposed out here, and that makes us uncomfortable. We have plans to restore our wards, but for that, we require new materials. If you are willing to assist the Coven, with compensation for your efforts, of course, we will require some more exotic ingredients. First, we require Venom Gaze bile from the basilisks in Ugdenbog. Only the mature ones will do, as the venom must be extra potent. Secondly, and this one may prove to be a bit of a risk, is the horn from a leaf mane alpha. Those brutes are fiercely territorial, so be careful. Lastly, we will require a rare herb known as the Ugdenbloom. You may find it growing out in the bog, but sometimes they grow atop Ugdenbog golems. Will you do this for us? Yes, perfect. You continue to be a service to the Coven, for which we thank you. But though we now have the materials we need, there is a threat that not even our wards will be able to protect us from. Care to assist us? Deep beneath Ugdenbog, a vast network of caverns and roots traverses the entire region. We call it the Undergrowth. Centuries ago, a single seed sprouted roots within those caverns. It grew to become a massive creature known as Silvaria. She has become twisted and rotten after all these years. Her black roots spread out across the undergrowth, breaching the surface and marring the land. It is only a matter of time before she reaches the Coven. She must be pruned and new plant life be allowed to thrive within Ugdenbog. Find the entrance to the undergrowth up in Ugdenbog and deal with this threat. Good. Perhaps in time new plant life will sprout from her remains that brings a healthy balance to the ecosystem. Our matron, Malostria, will be pleased to hear this news. In fact, she has been inquiring about you. You should speak to her when you get an opportunity. You will find her below us, at the center of the refuge. She is usually tending to the ritual circle we will need to restore our wards.
Goradia speaks of your accomplishments as if they are meant to impress me. Tell me, young one, are you prepared to do what must be done? At least you are determined. Very well. One of our own has become tainted by the false promises of the Wendigo Spirit Ravager. She has lost her way, and now weaves dark rituals within Ugdenbog. A witch as powerful as Janaxia cannot be allowed to fall to the manipulations of the Wendigo. All attempts at reasoning with her have failed. Only one option remains. Seek out Janaxia's hut, hidden underneath one of the great trees of Ugdenbog, and eliminate her. It appears Goradia was right about you. Here, a little gift in return. You have proven resourceful, I admit. But there are matters I must attend to that require my full attention. Speak to me again when you've proven your loyalty to all our sisters. I think I am beginning to see your purpose in our coven. You will be the catalyst we require to restore our protective wards. But are you prepared for what that entails? Not far from the refuge, within Ugdenburg itself, the Coven had prepared 3 ritual sites in order to focus our energies toward the focal point, the rune circle you see before me. With the destruction of the fetish, the circles have become unstable, turning into unintentional spirit traps. If we are to recreate the warding ritual our sisters used decades ago to protect this place, then we must cleanse the circles. That is where you come in. My magic will protect you against the fiends, but you will be the one to banish them forever. Are you prepared? Have you purged the circles of power? Good. I can already feel power gathering within the ritual circle. Soon we shall recreate the ritual at this site. As much as you have done here, I'm not sure I can entrust you with overseeing the final stages. This is a matter for only the most trusted members of the Coven. Don't take this personally.
Is that you, Mother? I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I won't make it to dinner. I'm just so tired. Too tired. An unfortunate accident, my Emperor. I'm afraid my left arm will take some time to heal, but it should not impede my duties. It is not a concern that should rise above the threats to the Empire, however. Ulgrim. I haven't gone by that name in so many years. How do you know this name? Burwitch. There's nobody living left in Burwitch. You must be another memory, haunting me in my nightmares. Be gone! The only one who would dare to command me was the Emperor. He lies dead in the capital. His blood remains on my hands to this day. I would not take this tone with me if I were you. Yes, I think I remember now. The Void. It clouds my mind. Fills my every waking thought with horrors beyond imagination. But if you're here too, how will we get out? To Malmouth. Last I passed through there, it had fallen to the Ethereals, and it wasn't a pretty sight. But if you need to get there, then there must be a good reason. Though I can't say I understand why you risked coming for me, if that's the priority. Not that I don't appreciate it. I see. Then the only way forward is deeper. I'm afraid I'm thoroughly spent and won't be much use to you in a fight. If we're going to get out of here, you'll need to clear a path. Don't worry about me. I will join you through the shadows. Gods know there's plenty of those here. I had lost all hope of ever seeing the sun again. Your arrival changed all that. Let's see if we can make it out of here together. It's good to see the sun again. And I have you to thank for it. You're right, of course. But you have to fill me in. Why are you trying to get into ethereal territory? Oh, great. While the unpleasantness in the void is behind us, it seems we're stepping right into another. This area has changed since I've last seen it. To the north is Malmouth. Of that, I am sure. But it seems we're not the only ones with sights set upon the fallen city. What remains of the cult of Cthulhu is thick here, battling with our mutual enemy for control over the city outskirts. I'm afraid I see no choice but to wade into that battlefield and carve a path to the city gates. With the Ethereals entrenched here, I am certain there's another rift gate around. Find it, secure it, and I will join you. Well, here we are, Malmouth, the center of industry in the north. Or it was before it all went down the slit hole. Would have been far too much luck to have the bridge down and waiting for us. Not to worry. There's an old sewer outlet not far from here, just down to the west by the river. It was a popular route for smugglers bringing contraband in and out of the Candle District. Now it will serve as our way in. No royal carpet for us. With any luck, we'll run into some of these survivors you spoke of. Take the lead.
You better have a damn good reason to be here, before I assume you're just another ethereal. You're not from Malmouth, though. I'd know. Speak. Why are you here? Eh? You and what army? The city's been overrun. Our people are scattered, dead, or worse, taken into the Fleshworks. The Black Legion? They survived the carnage in the capital? I suppose if anyone was gonna pull through, you could count on the Emperor's finest. How do they plan to get here? The docks are destroyed. Aether fire surrounds us. I don't know what that means, but if it's true, the best way into the city proper would be through the Candle District. The bridge was raised following the attacks, but the controls should still function. If you find a way to lower it, then the Legion can enter.
So, this is what's left of the Resistance, then. We're going to need the Legion. Wait, did I just say that? Somer must have rubbed off on me. Yes, that will suffice to let Creed's troops pour into the city proper. You will have to make your way through the Candle District, a more pleasant name for the city's slums. I don't expect it will be enjoyable. Carve your way through whatever horrors the Ethereals have waiting, and bring down that bridge. In the meantime, I'll try to get what information I can out of these people. Figure out what we're dealing with.
And you are? The Black Legion? Where were they when the city burned? Where were they when our people were forced to flee into the sewers? Where were they when we watched our children get turned into monsters? That may be true, but do not expect me to leap for joy because of empty gestures. If you are here to help, then act.
I was beginning to lose hope, but you pulled through. What's the situation here? We? I take it there's some good news then. I will need to speak to this resistance. I'll meet you there. I've spoken with Karinia. She appears to be in charge of these people. Things here are about as bad as we thought. But with her intel, I believe we can make a difference in Malmouth. Karinia has informed me of an old resistance outpost up on the surface in the Steel Cap district. They were forced to abandon it when the ethereal presence became overwhelming. I believe it will be a boost to morale to see it retaken, and it can serve as our base of operations when we advance upon Crown Hill. I've dispatched some troops, but I'd like you to lead the assault. Take the nearby sewer passage up to the surface and clear out any ethereals present.
If you're serious about heading out into the Candle District, which I don't recommend, then there's something you could do to cement our trust. The Ethereals do more than just slaughter us. That much is apparent. They've been gathering the dead and transporting them to Crown Hill. To what end? Just take a look at the mutated brutes roaming the city. We're just fuel for their experiments, material for their army. And I will not stand for another human being used this way. The Ethereal gathering efforts are concentrated around the Candle District, where the fighting was thickest. If you head out there, destroy their despicable corpse wagons. I had you figured all wrong. The Legion at our doorstep and the wagons destroyed all in one day. Here, some iron bits for your efforts. It's the least I could do in return.
A new blade, the nausea is clearing. I dare say it might be time to put these old bones back into the fray. Don't worry about me. I'll be sure to avoid any tears in reality, if I can help it.
The outpost is ours, though it came with a cost. Those who lost their lives in the defense of mankind must never be forgotten. But we cannot let their sacrifices be in vain. We must push forward. The Resistance had attempted to breach the gates of Crown Hill before, but they were not adequately prepared. The remains of their fallen still litter the streets, along with the explosives they had crafted for the task. I've prepared a powder that should magnify the properties of their makeshift bomb dramatically, enough to pierce those steel gates and give us an opening. I need you to take this powder and recover the explosives from the failed mission. Combine them at the Crown Hill gates and blast the damn things open. Only then will we have any hope of breaching the Fleshworks and destroying the Master of Flesh. Once through, secure a foothold and report to Ulgrim, who will join you in the field. We know that it is the stronghold of ethereal operations in the region. Within its walls is the center of the fleshy growth known as the Fleshworks, within which hides Theoden Marcel, the Master of Flesh. He is the mastermind behind the tragedies that befell Malmouth, Port Valbury, and who knows where else. His destruction will surely disrupt ethereal activities in the region and put a stop to whatever horrors he is preparing for humanity next. We cannot afford to fail here.
There you are. Creed said you might be able to help. Awful nice of him to set aside resources for us. While discussing the attack on Crown Hill, I brought up several targets that I consider of utmost importance if we are to ever secure the city. Creed was inclined to agree. If you are willing to help, speak to Captain Wilfor. We've had some trouble in the Steel Cap district that requires immediate attention.
Karinia has given me the go-ahead to engage our efforts in the Steel Cap district. You in? The Steel Cap district was once the pride of Malmouth. Manufacturing facilities, forges, arcane shops, everything you could think of was once made here. All of it gone, destroyed in the carnage that ensued. But some of the old supplies still remain. If you're headed out into the Steel Cap district, keep an eye out for any old weapon caches or arcane supplies, such as enchanting powders and magical implements. We could use it all. Good work out there. The supplies you recovered from the Steel Cap District will help us push the offensive. Kalen will be pleased to finally get back to work. You can be sure that we will. I'll have Kalen get started on these right away. I was going to ask if you've seen any of our other operatives while you were out there, but it seems you've already found them. Those people are alive thanks to you. Good on you to put yourself at risk for the safety of others. I'll be sure that they do their fair share from within the hideout, and not out there. Not everybody's cut out for the warrior life. I believe Corinia's got something big planned for the harbor, but she's not ready to discuss her plans yet.
So this is what the Ethereals have envisioned for us all. I'm sure they won't mind that we let ourselves in. Preliminary reports indicate that the main entrance to the Fleshworks is on the northeastern end of Crown Hill. It's sealed tight behind some thickly armored, fleshy barrier. However, we also know that the Ethereals have several flesh vents around the district, emitting immense amounts of heat. If enough of them are destroyed, then the entrance may be forced open in order to compensate for the loss of ventilation. While I mobilize our forces for a frontal assault, you will need to seek out these vents and destroy them. It may be our only chance of getting inside and ending this Master of Flesh before his grand plan comes to fruition. Once you're inside the Fleshworks, I'm afraid you'll be on your own. Good luck.
Tell me, what happened in the Fleshworks? So it is finished then. With the demise of this fiend, a major pedestal in the ethereal hierarchy crumbles. Their forces here will become rudderless. Their collective will be scattered. Malmuth is a great victory for mankind. It will become a symbol of our resilience, that we are not done fighting for our right to exist. And we must keep on fighting, in the name of those who sacrificed their lives for humanity itself. We will never submit.
We can't afford to underestimate our enemies. There is a real possibility that the Ethereals will retaliate in some way for this loss. We must be prepared. The first step will be to exterminate the remaining Ethereal presence and secure Malmuth against a possible attack. Between Fort Icon and Malmuth, we now have major fortifications on both fronts, with access to the coastline and shipbuilding facilities. But every victory costs us lives. While the Ethereals are nigh limitless, every move we make must be carefully planned.
We've been preparing to make a push against the Ethereals, and it would be a great help if you joined in the attack. I'm talking about the Black Iron Docks, over on the western side of the Steel Cap District. The harbor is in ruins, boats shattered and burned. But if we are ever to push beyond the Aether Fire and not rely on magic or portals through Hell, we will require transport. The Black Iron Docks were controlled by the Imperial Army. Only a small regiment was on site when the attacks began. A handful of them now serve in our resistance, but most perished. If we can take back the docks, we can begin construction of new ships and wrest back control of the waters. My men are ready. Will you lead this attack?
Incredible. Simply incredible. You went into the maw of the beast and emerged victorious. Few can claim such bravery.
Was the mission a success? I always knew I had it in me to tell somebody else to do something heroic. The Malmouth Resistance appreciates everything you've done. The future of this war may well be shaped by your actions this day. Now, if only this was the end of the Ethereals here. Don't worry, though. I'll find something else worth killing. For now, help out the others at the hideout. Take a look at the bounty table for recent developments. There's always something worth doing.